got some incredible views here, and I'm only halfway up the mountain. Hello everyone, welcome. I'm in the Oregon Cascades, and today ascending the south ridge of Mount Jefferson. As always, I'll give a disclaimer. Climbing is inherently dangerous. I don't know your skill level or experience. I can't make a risk assessment for you, but hopefully this video can help you to make that risk assessment. I have had a few requests to do this one, and I do appreciate everyone who's given me requests because my list has expanded greatly this year, especially in this region because I'm not too familiar with it. So there's a lot of great summits out here that I didn't know about previously. Just wish I could have got to a few more of them this year, but it's mid-September. We're running out of summer, and I spent half of August sitting out with some minor injuries, so wish I could have done a little more. On this one, I was contemplating originally taking the southwest ridge, but when I was walking in along the PCT, it was still dark when I got to the turnoff area, and most likely there would have been a bushwhack in the dark, and if there was a climber's trail, I wasn't able to find it. But in any case, about 7.5 miles in, I got to Shale Lake. It was easy to find a climber's path just off to the left-hand side of the lake, and I've been following that trail off and on, and as of right now I'm a little over 7,000 feet in nearing the ridge. I did find a good GPX for this route. Highly recommend to bring it along because there were a few times where I came off the trail, was able to find it again, but thus far the GPX looks like it was done by someone who knows where they were going. At a little bit under 8,000 feet, I topped out on a saddle on the proper ridgeline. Definitely a few places here with some super loose scree where I'm doing 2 steps up and 1 step down. Guess the good news is here, there's still a nice trail to follow. I've looped around a little bit to the east side of the ridge, and I can see the summit block to the north of me, though it's still a long way up. Yeah, doing this in a single day is about a 22-23 mile round trip. I was able to get the day use permit here, but I couldn't get the overnight permit, so just doing it in one shot. And there's plenty of camping spaces down by Shale Lake, which at the moment is halfway dried up. But I'm standing around 8,000 feet, and there's some small camping spots up here as well. And depending on what the snow conditions are, it might be more beneficial to sleep up here, get a shorter approach on summit day. I was walking a little bit west of the main ridge and was really struggling for traction in the scree slopes between the snowfields. So I moved east onto the proper ridge, and thus far it's been a lot easier scrambling up here. This late summer snowpack is great though. I was able to walk on it easily without crampons. Just wish there was more of it. I think this definitely would be an easier route with some solid snow. Still scrambling up the ridge. I'm just under 10,000 feet and have a pretty clear view of the summit block not far in front of me. This scree slope here is getting pretty steep. It feels like mostly I'm just jumping from one big rock to the next. And thankfully most of the big rocks will stay put here because otherwise there's nothing solid to stand on. Just over 10,000 feet. The scrambling is a little bit easier on some bigger rocks. Coming up now to the red saddle. Again, it's mid-September. I saw a trip report from earlier this month, and there was a photo with very little snow here. Now it looks like it's almost gone. I brought the bare minimum for traversing here, but it looks like I won't even need that. I'm near the start of the traverse. There is a fixed line here, though I can't tell you what condition it's in up above. It is something that's handy to have in case of an emergency. I took a high route coming across the traverse, over top what's left of the snowfield, but that probably was a mistake. Ton of loose rock I sent flying down, and looking back, it looks a lot more mellow underneath the snow. So I'll go that way on the descent. I know it's possible to approach this summit block from the west, class 4, maybe low class 5, but it's also my understanding that there is slightly easier approach from the north. So I'm traversing around this loose scree field to go check out the northern approach. I'm approaching the summit from the northwest and coming up some ledges that are a little bit exposed. From here, I think it's only about 60 vertical feet to the summit. So it keeps the class 4 scrambling to a minimum, I think. But depending on snow conditions, approaching this from the north may or may not be the best way to go. This section here did take me a few minutes to figure out. I put my feet on the lowest ledge possible to give myself a few handholds. Just a little bit above me, there was a really narrow crack. Couldn't quite get my fingers in it. And as you might have seen, I'm checking every hold carefully. Okay, future me here. In hindsight, there is an easier approach. Walking around to the east side of the North Ridge. More secure too, though it still is exposed. The ironic thing is too that my GPX route had me coming up this way. I either felt stubborn or adventurous. I made myself take the harder way. Well, in the end, you get to see more options. Some thoughts on Mount Jefferson. I'm pretty certain that snowfield traverse would have been the crux if I had to traverse a snowfield, but got lucky on that one. I had to struggle up a scree slope to get here, but then made back some of that time by having an easy traverse across. As for the 4th class scrambling here, although it was short, there is a good amount of exposure, and a lot of rock is not great. Even the slabs didn't give me a ton of grip, so didn't really enjoy it. The slope was a little bit more gentle walking down into the bowl underneath what's left of the snowfield, but there's still 1,000 loose rocks in here. I'm kicking them out myself, and as I'm walking across, I have some other ones falling from above me, so I'm not going to waste time in here. I'm going to get across this as fast as I can. Okay, little update here. I did fall down coming across the traverse. Probably slid about 10 feet before something caught me. Yeah, still pretty miserable in there. I do believe there's an option to go up where the fixed rope is as well and traverse over from there. But not gonna lie, I'm getting pretty tired and my water is quite low, so I'm not gonna do that one today. My apologies. Thankfully, there's enough loose scree here on the south ridge to make this a really fast descent. Also have to watch out for kicking rocks though. I had another little fall coming down here too, and once again probably slid 10 feet before I stopped. I'm down to about 8,000 feet and finally got some running water. Something I wish I would have mentioned earlier, but late in summer here there wasn't much water coming up. My 2 liters weren't quite enough, but I'm making up for that now. The last half a mile or so before coming back to Shale Lake is just walking through some meadows. Pretty nice actually. After that, back on the PCT. Still have another 7.5 miles to walk gradually downhill, but at least it's on a comfortable trail. Shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully we'll have a lot of shade here. Anyway, that was Mount Jefferson, South Ridge. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful for planning your own trip. As always, I love your feedback. What did you like? What can I do differently? And what other peaks and routes would you like to see? Okay, bye.